The Thrive Hood podcast is a useful resource for boys and young men who want to thrive as they mature into manhood. I'll be your host, Tim Williams, and welcome to the Thrive Hood podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of the Thrive Hood podcast. I am your host, Tim Williams. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, let me start off for some of you older generation folks out there that are listening to my podcast. You may be scratching your head as it relates to the title of this particular episode. And if you were to take away the text acronyms that I used, I'm just trying to stay relevant, okay? The sentence would actually read, in my opinion, you should ask her out face to face. So just trying to help you guys out there a little bit. Let me say this too up front. Your situation might not be the best approach as what I'm getting ready to talk about. If you've met a girl and you're interested in asking her out, but maybe it's a one-time shot, right? You've met her at an event or something, and that's about the only time you've ever seen her. And if you don't get her number, you're not going to connect. Okay, I get it. I understand. And I'm not saying that what I'm getting ready to present is the hard and fast rule, but I am trying to find some alternatives as we continue to go through life. We need to just always stop and just look through the lens, look through the filter of what we're getting ready to do. Is this the best approach? Is this the best way? Regardless of what technology or apparatuses we have at our disposal to make life easier, is that really the best approach? And so this is just some suggestions, just some recommendations, some things to think about as it relates to asking a girl out on her first date. And let me just say this. I think you should ask a young girl out face to face. I think one-on-one, mano a mano. I think that needs to be the way that you approach that. There's body language, there's facial expressions. There are, oohs and ahs and ha and okay. And, there is so much that can be read in an exchange in a face-to-face situation that you just can't get through text. And it also, because of that, it helps you and it allows you to drive the conversation and it leads the conversation much more easily, much more fluently than just texting back and forth. And there is a human element that's really missed by texting. There's just a connection that's missed, and I don't want to go down that road too much. Listen, let me pause right here. I'm not anti-text, okay? Not at all. I do it all the time. But when it comes to this situation and you young men, I think there are a couple of values that are missing by approaching it this way. And here's the first one. I believe that asking a girl out in person, it helps improve your self-confidence. I feel like the whole texting, this growing phenomenon of texting people out is really developing what I call screen protection. And no, I don't mean, buying the piece of plastic that goes on your glass. I'm talking more in terms of it helps us hide. It helps us young men to sort of maybe limit the emotional damage. So if she says no, you're not standing right there in front of her and you don't really know what to do and it's a very awkward moment. Well, you're just looking at a screen waiting for her response, right? Heck, it's a little easier to manage that. It's a little easier to deal with it if the answer is no, or I'm not sure, or you're not my type, or get lost, whatever. At that point you can delete her number and block her and you go on with life. But is that the right approach? And I want to be careful here. Is hiding the right way to go about starting off a relationship? Just something to think about. Pinning ourselves in so that we're as protected as we possibly can be. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right approach or not. I'll say this, that if you do go out there and you do ask for a opportunity to get to know her and let's go see a movie or catch a show or go get coffee, whatever the case may be, If she says no, I can promise you something. Your ego will heal, okay? It will survive. You'll be fine. You'll live to fight another day. But the truth of the matter is, stressful situations develop good self-confidence, okay? If this particular date doesn't work out, if she says no when you ask her out, guess what? You have just developed a little bit of confidence so that you can use it next time. And if that doesn't work out next time, and who knows, maybe the first time you've asked a girl out, boom, she becomes your wife. Fantastic. We'll celebrate with you. That'd be cool. But it could be 30 or 40 times for some people before they find their true love, as we say. Well, each time you have to work yourself up and do that, you're getting better. You're getting more creative. Your focus is better. You're thinking on your feet better. You're able to respond in stressful situations. And by the way, this just doesn't help you in asking out a girl. This is an area that you are maturing in and growing in simply by allowing yourself to be put in a little bit of a vulnerable situation, and in a situation where you're going to be stressed and have to be challenged. I think it's important. You guys know this. You grow during challenge. You don't grow when you're not challenged. You know that. So this is an opportunity to put you in a situation and allow yourself to grow, even though it doesn't seem like that's the ultimate goal. And obviously, if she says yes, you haven't lost anything, right? It's time to celebrate. So I would say that. The other thing that I would say is that asking her out in person sets the cornerstone for the rest of the relationship. It is the foundation upon which the relationship is built. And here's what I mean by that. And I know that you're going to go like that. Well, really, man? But just track with me here a second. If you have decided, you know what? You've been thinking about this, and maybe you've texted a little bit and you're like, man, I'm ready. I just want to ask her out. And you've got your PJs on, and you haven't brushed your teeth, no shower. You still got bed hair, right? Bedhead, no shower. And you decide to ask her out. Now just think for a minute. You have just put your best foot forward for this young girl. Think about that a second. That is the best that you're willing to give her as you begin this journey in this relationship. And what's more concerning to me is, well, I shouldn't say more, but what's equally concerning is that if she says yes, well, that's great. But then she has just set the standard for this relationship to move forward on, and she may not even realize it. I'll tell you this, if it were my daughter, or if it was me, and I was getting a request to go out on a date from a guy, at the very least, I would be saying, buddy, I am worth more than that. If you want to go out with me, if you want to be a part of what's going on here and all this goodness, then you need to ask me face to face, because I believe I would be worth it. And that's where I'm headed with this. What's your level of worthiness for her? Where is that? Because if you, just stay with me here, if you have asked her out in the funny scenario that I just mentioned, bed hair and no shower and in your PJs, maybe you got ketchup on your face from, eating French fries, and you're like, I'll just text her. If she says yes to that, in your mind, it's more subconscious than anything. You have just identified where your floor is in the relationship. That's where it is. And so now you already know, man, okay. And again, it could be subconscious, but you may be saying, well, all right, now I'll show up, and if I'm 10 minutes late, it's not a big deal, because she accepted me going out on a date with me just by saying yes through text. And then you show up a few minutes late and she doesn't say anything. Well, and then next time you go, you didn't clean the car up and it's dirty, and then you're a little late. And do you see where the foundation begins to erode? If the goal is to have a beginning relationship to start at a 10, and you've started it at a 4, there's a climb. You're already in the hole trying to develop good relationship and a good solid foundation to start the relationship on. But if you're striving for a 10 and you start at a 7 or an 8, that's fantastic. That's, to me, where I think it's important to understand the value of asking her out face to face. I think, this is just me, I think it is too easy. I think it only, when you're talking about texting somebody to go out on a date, I think it's putting in minimal effort. I think it's not forcing you to put your best foot forward, and she deserves it. Guys, she deserves better than that. And so I would ask that you would really consider, as much as I love technology, as much as I love what's happening in our world and how it's making life easier and simpler, don't allow the technology to begin to decide who you're going to be as you grow up into manhood. I truly believe that there are some fundamental old-fashioned approaches to relationships that should never be lost. And in my personal opinion, I think this is one of them. Because I feel like when you put your best foot forward, first of all, she will recognize that. It will be easy for her to recognize that. She's worth it. And I think there is value in you putting your best foot forward. Look, there is a saying that says, if you just do 10% more than everybody else, you will succeed. I think if you just put in 10% more into developing a relationship or getting to know a girl, that it will set you apart. And you can easily say, well, I don't know, Tim, I don't know what the big deal is, man. People, that's what we do. Our Generation Zers, we're outside, we're out here, we're texting. Okay, if you want to be like everybody else, that's cool. And listen, not challenging, not slamming you, if that's what you want. But to be a thrivehood guy, I think it requires a step up. I think it requires just a little bit more so that you can set yourself apart from that. And by the way, can I tell you, and I believe this with all my heart, when you set yourself apart, there are girls out there that are looking for those young men that are setting themselves apart. And guess what? They're also setting themselves apart. So now you are finding somebody that truly could be special and could be of great value to you as you move forward. Hey, I'm not saying this is the woman of your dreams and she's going to be your wife. But if you set the precedence now, whether it's first girl you date or 20 girls down the line that you've dated and you're still trying to find the perfect one, continue to hold yourself at a high standard. There are girls out there that will recognize that and appreciate that for what it is. I promise you that. So quickly, to recap, asking a girl out in person allows you to improve on your self-confidence. And asking a girl out in person sets the cornerstone for the rest of the relationship. Again, you don't know whether this will be the woman of your dreams or will be one of many that you have to ask out and get to know before you find her. But in either case, you are developing some qualities that are priceless. Thanks, guys, for listening. And as always, stay strong.